I think a big part of it is not only finding people that are tolerant of you, but people that love you.
What's up, man?
Hey, hey.
What's good people? It's Pride Month, and I had the chance to get to know some really cool guys. It was, just watch. They try to tell you gay men are a monolith, but after hearing these stories, I don't know. It's just not adding up.
When did you know you had more than a friendly attraction to men?
Ooh, probably like first grade. That was the first time that I had ever heard the word gay associated with me. And I remember asking, like, what is gay? What does that mean? And the only person that told me what it meant was my brother. And that's when I remember, like, the negative effects that, like, people were saying, like, ooh, like, he's gay, ah. And so I was just like, well, I don't want to be that.
When you were thinking about your sexual orientation, was the first thought, how am I going to tell people?
No, I was just like, make it until you're 18 and keep it moving. Like, I just kind of had that thought, like, very early on. I was like, at first I was like, okay, maybe not. Had a few girlfriends here and there. And then once I really, like, knew, and I was like, all right, you can't hide from yourself. Then I was just like, all right, cool. Just keep your head down, keep your grades good, go to college, and then, like, everything's going to be litty then. So that was, like, my idea.
So who was the first person you told?
I don't actually know the first person that I told. I want to say it was one of my close girlfriends, but I really don't know. Only because of the fact that, like, I just decided to, like, just operate and live in my truth. So it was never really, like, a moment of, like, so I have something that I have to tell you. It was just kind of like I just did it. I remember when I first told one of my very, very, very close friends. We've been friends since the 7th grade, so it's going on like 14 years now. And she was just like, period. Like, what's next? Like, what we about to do? Like, when we going out, all this other kind of stuff. So it was cool to just kind of have that support system and somebody that I already knew I would have it with. But I don't really remember the first person that I told. I just remember telling myself, like, it's time to stop operating in fear and to just live. So I just decided to just start living.
I'm assuming you didn't have queer parents. Did you have someone that was somewhat of a guide to navigate the space?
No, I think that's part of the reason why I decided to, like, just keep my head down, keep my head in the books, do whatever I needed to do to, like, just kind of, I guess, stay safe. So whatever I did, things that I like to do, I love performing arts. I'm a lover of all things performing arts. So I was like, I'm not going to give that up. But to also try and stay safe, still play a sport, still operate in athletics and stuff like that. So, I wasn't on the basketball team or nothing like that, but I played soccer, stuff like that. So I was still athletic, but at the same time, I was very, like, docile, I guess you can say, in comparison to other guys. But I just was like, do what you gotta do to get out the house, and then you can just, like, live and be whoever you want to be.
Considering there was very little representation on TV in the 90s and early 2000s, what are your thoughts on how gay men are portrayed in TV?
Oh, wow. So I don't know if this is, like, a direct answer to this question, but this just made me think of my very first time ever seeing a gay black man on TV. And I was in the 8th grade. Yeah, 8th grade. And I found this wonderful show called Noah's Ark. And we had just gotten satellite TV, so we had all the channels. Like, when I say all the channels. And I stumbled across Logo TV, and I was just like, what is this? I was like, this is me. This is where I belong, okay? And I would wait until, like, my parents and stuff would be gone, and I would be like, all right, cool, like, let's go see. And one weekend, they did a whole entire, like, Noah's Ark, just, like, all the seasons, everything, marathon. And I remember I would cringe a little bit because it's, it was the very effeminate versions of gay men, but then you also had some of the, like, butch queens and stuff like that on there. So you saw some of everything, but it was just, like, my first eye-opening, like, gateway into, like, adulthood as, like, a gay black man. And that for me was, like, I don't know, it was just very transformative. And I just remember thinking, like, in that moment as well, like, all right, yeah, like, you're on the right track. Just stay focused, and then like once you really get out in the world, like you're gonna be lit. Like you can be out here making movies, you can be out here, you can do anything you want to do. And it was partially because of being able to see that exposure.
So how does it feel to be gay? Like, is there an emotional association with the sexuality?
Sometimes it can be a bit heavy. Like I know when I'm out in public, and I say public versus like at home, because I do still live at home with my parents. And when I'm at home, I just I tone it down like a lot. I still talk very openly and stuff like that on the phone around my parents, but it's just a kind of like don't ask, don't tell kind of policy. So it's like, you don't mention it, I don't mention it. Great. But at the same time, it's like, you feel that when you come home. And that's one of the motivating factors for me of like moving out is like, not only is it like freedom from just having to like, abide by their rules and respect them because they are my parents, and I definitely still want to like love and honor them. But at the same time, it's like, I want to love and honor myself too. And so to love and honor yourself, that means that you don't have to hide certain parts, or you don't have to conceal certain parts of who you are. And this is a big part of who I am.
I love it. Do you think it's beneficial or detrimental having heterosexual friends? And do you find yourself code switching in those spaces?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the straights, they're fun, they're great people, until, I think that's always what's in the back of my mind. I'm like, you guys are great. You're humans too. We're all being human beings together out here, just humanizing around. But then there comes certain times where you see that there's a certain tolerance level. And so I kind of like equate it to like, your tolerance, like how can you handle your liquor and stuff like that. It's like, how much of this queerness can you accept? How much of this are you willing to like really put up with until you're just kind of like, all right, I've had my taste. I'm full now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here. And if that's the case, that's cool. I'm not trying to pressure anybody because that's not what I'm on. But I think that's kind of a thing for me that I oftentimes think about is how much of that can I also put up with? Flipping it is like, how much of the straight-ish can I put up with until I've had my taste and until I'm full?
So what are some of the spaces that made you uncomfortable as a young gay man?
Any space that was male-dominated. That would really make me very, very, very uncomfortable. I remember being very nervous playing soccer growing up when the teams went from being able to be co-ed to being all boys. I was very nervous about that. That made me feel like, okay, so how am I going to operate now? Like, I've always been able to easily make friends, but especially with women, I've always been able to easily make friends. So that was like, okay, I'm not going to have, Sydney or Sarah or, whomever on the team with me now. So what do I do? How do I make friends here? Or going into a place, I was really heavy in the church growing up. So anytime we had to be split up, they would always split us up, boys and girls. And just being anywhere where there was like older guys, especially, I would just be really like, I would just clam up and I would just kind of like be scared to be me, open my mouth, say anything, dance or anything like that, because it would just instantly be ridiculed. And I was like, all right, what can we do today to just stop the bullying as much as we can? And so, believe it or not, I used to fight a lot. Ooh.
So what would you tell teenage Corey?
Ooh, I actually was just having this conversation with myself in the shower the other day. Is that weird? Anywho, if y'all don't talk to yourself in the shower, first and foremost, if you're not winning arguments in the shower, if you're not figuring out how you're going to get a raise in the shower, if you're not talking to God in the shower, whatever, talk to yourself in the shower. It's a safe space, I promise. But no, so yeah, I was just talking to myself about this, and I was like, if you had the opportunity to get in a time machine, like, what would you go back and say? And honestly, out of fear of like mucking up the timeline, I really wouldn't say too much, but other than the fact that like the cliche thing of it gets better, because it really does, but it doesn't get better because it gets better. It gets better because you get better. That's something that I would really love to say to teenage Corey is that you get better. You learn so much about your mental space. You learn so much about what it is to be physically you, what it is to really uphold this body and like love yourself every inch from head to toe. You get to see yourself just grow in so many astronomical ways. You go through, just all these different metamorphoses and transformations and things like that that you didn't see for yourself, like you had never imagined. But yet you go off to college and you do that. You graduate from college and you do that. You're working in a job in a field that you've dreamed about your entire life since you were 4 years old, asking how do people get put on the TV. You're doing that. You're putting people in the TV. So like that to me is something that like I had never really actually imagined I would be able to do, but like here I am doing it. So like just keep going, keep pushing, and don't give up.
So I end all my conversations with keep creating space.
Yes.
How do you think we can create more space for queer men?
Well, for me, it's the dream that I'm living right now, currently climbing up that ladder of going into television and film and being a producer. For me, I really think that so much of what we see in media is reflective of what's happening in the world, and what's happening in the world is reflective of what's happening in media. And so for me, I am like on a personal crusade right now to like really just keep going and get there to be able to start being one of those gatekeepers that's seeing the scripts, that's seeing the castings and things like that, and be able to say like, hey, I think this person could do just as great a job as well, and I think they might even show some people something that they hadn't seen before. And then just like being authentically you, loving yourself, living in your truth, that to me is like, it's groundbreaking. It's so amazing once you really, when that switch is turned on and you make that decision to say, today I'm me, 100%. You walk a little bit different. You talk a little bit different. You see things a little bit differently, and you just operate so completely different. When you're 100% you, people recognize that. People understand the authenticity, and believe it or not, no matter if you're gay, straight, blue, purple, green, brown, like they want a piece of that. They want to get near that. They want to know what that is because they want a piece. They want to be able to do that for themselves as well. So be 100% authentically you. Be a great example, and people will follow.
What's good people? I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm going to let Corey come in and close it. I just wanted to say happy Pride.
All right, people, this has been a lot of fun. My name is Corey Sams. My pride is joyful. Keep creating space. Peace.